It's already halfway through the year and we're starting from scratch. By completing SBCs, playing matches, and competing in FUT Champs, we're going to build the best ultimate team that we can in the time available. Welcome to my FIFA 17 halftime Road to Glory. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Halftime Road to Glory, episode number 45 today, and today we've got a bit of a different episode for you guys. We're going to be doing a squad builder and a squad review on the FUTTIES team, basically, and it's going to be a full FUTTIES team, and I'm going to be trying to review it for you guys. Hopefully you guys can get something out of it. My review skills aren't amazing, but we'll give it a go, and let me just say this team is absolutely sensational. In the goalkeeper position, of course, we've got the most overpowered keeper in the game, Jack Butland, and then the centre-back positions above that is going to be Smalling and Bailly, one of the most overpowered centre-back combinations in the game. So a great triangle defense right there. Our right back is actually going to get a soft link to Bailly to put him on 8 chem, and that's going to be Serge Aurier, and the left back is going to be Luke Shaw. Now, our two wide central midfielders are going to be Florenzi and Dembele, and Florenzi is going to be the main one who's going to be off chemistry. He's only going to be on 5 after manager, but that's alright, we'll take that. And then at the cam position, which is actually the central center mid position in the 4-3-2-1, we're going to be having Gabriel Jesus with the 5-star skill moves, and that's going to put Musa up at the striker. Our left wing is going to be Raheem Sterling, and our right wing is going to be Sane, I think. Sane? Yes, Sane. So yeah, it's just a great team. I'll start talking about the team in general when we get into the gameplay, which is going to be very soon. But of course, you guys know that I like to rotate between two teams, so you can see the team on the bench, and I'm actually going to show it on the screen about right now. Not now, in a few seconds. Now, and yeah, there we go, and that's gonna be our second team that we're gonna be running. And let me just say, this team is sensational. It's so good. There's of course there's a few players off chem, but it's just such a overpowered team. But let's get into the review and breakdown of the squad. I'm going to talk about the squad in general first of all, then I'll talk about each of the individual players, and talk about some pluses and minuses of the squad. So first of all, we're going to talk about the entire squad, and this squad for us, this team, managed to get us 6 wins out of 6. It managed to give us 3 rage quits, and we managed to score 25 goals and concede only 3. I don't know what it is about this squad, but they just have so many good outlets, if that makes sense. They make amazing runs, and that way you can play the ball in behind. They're so fast and pacey. That triangle of Musa, Sane, Sterling, and Gabriel Jesus is just so fast, and then you've got a really tanky defense behind it. It is a great team. I'll talk about a bit more about that in a bit of a later bit, but let's get straight into the individual player reviews. So let's start off with Butland. I don't think there's much to say about Butland. He's an insanely overpowered keeper. Sometimes he makes some silly mistakes with diving, and long shots are the only really goals I got conceded against, but besides that, he is a piece of work, guys. I think he's standing at 6'4", 6'5"-ish, and that just allows him to come out and catch all those crosses and all that sort of stuff. He's actually very reliable, and I've been happy to replace De Gea with Butland in my team. So no complaints there. I think that doesn't really warrant that much of a review because he's just been so used. But I'm going to give him a 9.5 straight out of the bat because he's just a sensational keeper. Now, going a bit forward to Smalling and Bailly, you guys know these guys. They've been the best centre-back partnership in the BPL for one of the longest time. Since pretty much since before Team the Season, they were pretty much the best centre-back partnership. And every BPL team pretty much had them. Now, the goods, I'm not going to talk about Bailly's card because he's not really an upgrade, but Smalling's card, what's noticeable about it is the extra pace, the extra physical, and the extra stamina. Those 3 things make this card such a good center back, and you guys would know this. Smalling is in my main team. That is how good he is. He's up to the standard of Team the Season David Luiz, and he cost me 40k. A 40k player is about the same quality as a 500k player. If you guys have him in the club and you haven't been using him, go ahead, use him. and he's just going to be a rock at the back for you. So he's going to be absolutely sensational, and he just seals together that midfield position, the mid central defense position, and he's just so good. Now the wing backs, Serge Aurier and Luke Shaw. Serge Aurier is probably the standout one out of the two. He's just always there. Like, you know that one defender that just somehow is always in the right place and he just tackles the person from somewhere? And yeah, it's just a bit hard to word out, but you guys know what I mean. Like, he's always just that last man, and he stops all those counterattacks and all that sort of stuff. He's insanely strong. He's got great center of gravity. He can do great LLT-RT dribbling. He's got, he can keep up with, like, the Ronaldos and stuff like that. And he's probably one of the best right-backs in the game, I would say. Behind Philipp Lahm, Serge Aurier is a great choice. I'd give him like a 9.5 out of 10. And on top of that, you've got great links around him. You've got Marquinhos as team of the season untradeable. If you don't have that, you can do Thiago Silva. You've got Matuidi. You've got Verratti. There's a lot of options for you guys. So if you guys haven't been using Serge Aurier, go ahead, put him in your squad, and he's going to be amazing at the right back position. Moving on to the left back position, Luke Shaw, again, overpowered. What's noticeable about him is his extra pace and extra physical again, and a bit more defending. I think he has 84 across the board, so he has been phenomenal. He's been like so good. He doesn't get as back far as Aurier, but against like relatively decent attacks, he's been solid. So again, I'd probably give him about an 8.5-ish, but he's been so good. So yeah, that's pretty much all it says about the defense. It's been so solid at the back, and that can be like that can be just summarized by the 3 goals conceded within the 6 games. Now moving on to the midfield, this one's a bit difficult to talk about. I'm going to talk about the 2 defensive midfielders first, and then I'll talk about Gabriel Jesus. So Dembele and Florenzi as a unit together are amazing. They drop at the same time while Gabriel Jesus goes forward, and they're such tanks. They're pretty much 2 Kantes in the same team. And I can only imagine what Florenzi's card is like on full chem, because his card on 5 chemistry is amazing. Like, he is everywhere, and as a right back, he's been great. I've used his 84 right back card like for like majority half of FIFA, but his 86 center mid card is another level. He is so good. He's pretty much another team this season. Well, not team this season, probably like 87, 88-ish if there was one of those cards, Kante. And highly recommend him if you have a Calcio A squad. I might even try him instead of team of the season Khedira. That's how much I actually like this card. Now, I put him at a 9.5-ish. We'll chuck that in there. Now, Dembele's card, of course, he's pretty much like everyone's been using that SBC Dembele. The one thing I would say bad about him is his 2-star weak foot. So sometimes when you're passing off his weak foot, it's just kind of a bit weird. I think he has 2-star weak foot. If he doesn't, that's a bit awkward. But besides that, 4-star skill moves, excellent height, excellent physical, great pace, great defensive, absolute tank in the midfield. There's not much more to say about that card. He is everywhere, and as I said, as a unit, you can sprint. You can be like those when you know those players that just sprint around with their midfielders. You can be one of those dudes with those 2 in the midfield. The midfield's locked up, and then so they provide a really good defensive backline, and then in front of that you've got Gabriel Jesus. Now he makes a diamond with the attack, and he is just such a good central midfielder because he's got 90 pace, and I think I put like a Hawk or an Engine on him or something like that. He just buzzes all over the place. He doesn't really like lack from stamina, which I was surprised, because a lot of strikers, when they go to center mid, they lose a lot of stamina very quickly, but he doesn't seem to do that. And on top of that, because he's so fast, he keeps up with the midfielders and he just dispossesses them. I think the only player you would really have a problem dispossessing with Gabriel Jesus is probably a team this season Kante, or a team this season Naby Keita. Besides that, he's sensational, and he's actually makes like good tackling wise, but he's such a creative player. You'll see me LTRT dribble. That's another thing about the other 2 midfielders, by the way. The entire midfield have got an exceptional agility stat just generally. So you can LTRT all over your opponents, and of course Gabriel Jesus with the 5-star skill moves he just adds something else to the midfield. He's just the creative mind behind the entire midfield. So you've got your two tanks, and you've got your creative midfield, and as a whole, it's just such a solid combination. The only thing I would say, which is a bit bad, is the going forward wise, and attack, not going forward, is the height, because the midfield obviously lacks height, so that's the only bad thing. And I'm just realizing now we're running a bit low on time, so let's quickly go on to the rest of the thing and talk about the attack. Sane and Sterling, let me just say right now, they do not have weak foots. Don't shoot on their weak foots. But if you manage to cut back in like Messi on the right wing, like Ronaldo on the left wing, basically, finesse shots for days. You would have seen so many goals in these games where they've just scored so many goals from finesse shots. And I think Sane scored 6 goals, Sterling scored 5. I might put them up on the screen as they go. But yeah, it's just, they are such a good combination together, and they just make incredible runs. So you'll have Gabriel Jesus with the ball in the middle, and then they'll just bomb down the wings, and you have options for days, and then you can cut it back in to the main man in the center of the attack, Musa, scoring 10 goals for us in 6 games. This guy is a legend. You guys would have seen it, of course, throughout the start of the road to glory. He's been so good, and he's continued his form with his pink card. Let me just say, his pink card is better finishing. It's not going to be, of course, like Lukaku levels of finishing or Ousmane Dembele levels of finishing, but as a pink card, as an 85 rated card, an exceptional card, and he is extremely rapid. I think you'll see him score 4 goals in this one game. And he's able to like, I don't know what he does, but he's just able to like dink it past the keeper and somehow just like tap it home. So absolutely clinical striker. And the attack as a whole, including Gabriel Jesus as the creative midfield behind that diamond, oh man, it is just such a clinical combination. And of course Musa with 4-star skill moves as well. Same with Sterling. You've got a lot of options, and on like cutting in, you can do like body feints, you can do Berber spins, you can do all that sort of stuff. So it's absolutely amazing. I noticed a bit with Sane, it's a bit harder because he only has like 2 or 3-star skill moves, but you can still do the body feints and the ball rolls, and it's effective. But I think if you're the player that doesn't use that many skill moves, Sane is probably your best bet, because he is like, just based on stats, look at Musa there dinking it past him, but just based on like running down the wing and like scoring goals, he is so good. And yeah, I don't really know what more to say about the team. It's just such a clinical team, and you guys can see that from the games and the goals. And yeah, so I think the attack is absolutely sensational. As a total, I'd probably give it about a 9.5. I don't think it's up to the level of, like, obviously, like a Suarez, Messi, and Dembele combination, or Ronaldo combination, or Lukaku, something like that. But for what it is amazing. Let me say that right now. And I might not be playing against the best players because I'm not playing in FUT Champs, but I was able to rip players apart, and I'm actually surprised about the stamina on these cards. The stamina is what makes this team. I thought they would be dead by like the 80th minute. I had Ronaldo on the bench as well as Kante to bring on, as well as Mirek Hamšík, because I honestly thought they would be very dead by the end of the game. But they seem to hold in there and actually complete the entire 90 minutes. I was very pleased with that. And yeah, now I'm going to talk a bit about the team and what it's lacking. I've already talked about how the midfield is lacking that dominant, like, tall person. And I really like that in a midfield, because you can win a lot of headers, and that's a lot of turnovers. And the other thing I think it is really lacking this team is a good free kick taker. Holy crap, I've got like 12 or 13 or 14 free kicks throughout these games. I couldn't score one of them because none of them has good free kick accuracy. The best one's Florenzi, he's got like 86-ish, but he just hits it straight into the wall every single time. It's just a bit annoying, so yeah, that's the only other downside. But for the team as a whole, I think it's amazing. The defense is super solid. The midfield is just like very creative as well as tanky, and your attack is just like options everywhere, and they're very clinical. You can score from anywhere. Sane and Sterling cutting in and finessing it, and then of course you got Musa as the main man, finishing every single shot you take. But yeah, so that's going to be it for the squad review. I'm going to give this squad probably about like a 9.5, a 9-ish, somewhere around there. 9.25, something about there. And, yeah, absolutely sensational. I might play some weekend league games with it. But depending on how I go, because apparently I'm still in the top 100 for monthlies, I might try and actually play the rest of these games. So we'll see how that goes. But if we drop out of the top 100, then we'll start playing with this team in weekend league and see how it does. But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Leave a comment down below telling me what you thought about the review and all that sort of stuff. Is it decent enough? I'm not sure if I actually covered it well enough. But if you guys have any questions or comments or regards about this team, shoot me a message down in the question section below and I will happily answer it. I'm usually better at typing responses than actually messaging it to you guys, so that's a bit unfortunate. And don't forget to subscribe as always, drop a thumbs up, and until next time, guys, I'll see you guys in the next episode with some FUT Champions Elite rewards. So thank you guys for watching.